Okay. Hello. Today we have a lot of work to do. Number one is, I think we have completed our discussion of 15th group. So we need to in the 16th group, we have elements like oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. Of course, the oxygen, sulfur are non-metal, selenium, tellurium are metalloids, polonium is a metal. Most important aspect of all these elements is each and every element exists in more than one form. Sulfur has 36 forms. Selenium, tellurium, polonium, alpha, beta, variety. Every element of this family exists in more than one form. That is called polymorphism. Morphology means a branch of science that talks about shapes. All these elements show polymorphism. And polymorphism is the other name for allotropy. They exist in different physical forms. Oxygen, as you already know, is the most abundant element, which is a colorless, odorless, tasteless gas, somewhat soluble in water. Ozone is its allotrope, that is toxic in nature and poisonous, fish odor. But of course, ozone protects us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation coming out of sun. Now, the sulfur is available in the form of elemental sulfur in Sicily and Italy, but by and large, the sulfur is available in the form of ores like sulfide ores, sulfate ores. In general, these elements can make the ores of many other metals, hence they are called chalcogens. These elements, as we have seen, show similar tendencies down a group. Atomic ionic radii increase, metallic nature increase, the ionization energy is a drop. They show common valencies like +2, +4, +6, -2. Notice if you are increasing the bonded atoms, like if you have these molecules, as the number of bonded atoms are increasing, it becomes more and more covalent. Notice that if I am given 4 compounds of formula, AB2, AB3, AB4, AB5, AB6, which is most covalent means AB6. More is the number of atoms linked to same atom, gives more covalent nature. And one most important thing about these family members, the oxygen is unique as usual in case of any other family because of its small atomic size, high ionization energy, high electronegativity, and the absence of the orbitals. Oxygen can never expand the covalency beyond 4, as we have seen in the case of nitrogen. Notice that down a group in the hydrides, which they make H2O, H2S, H2Se, H2Te, H2PO, the properties are changing as we have seen in the case of ammonia, phosphenes, H3sp, H3Bi, H3. It becomes more and more difficult to prepare BiH3 because that is very unstable, whereas nitrogen can directly combine with hydrogen to give ammonia. Similarly, hydrogen can burn in air to give water. It becomes more difficult to make H2PO. they become less stable, they become more poisonous, they become more covalent, so on. There are some usual standard questions if we care to look at. Let's very quickly look at the elementary ideas of the 16th group as quickly as we can today, and then go to revision of organic because I'm scared that you will forget. Yes, sir. Let's look at which is an oxidizing agent amongst the following. Notice in nitrogen oxides, N2O5 is a good oxidizing agent. In sulfur oxide, SO3 is a good oxidizing agent. In chlorine oxides, Cl2O7 is the good oxidizing agent. How to decide who is a good oxidizing agent? If the central element is in highest possible positive oxidation state, in N2O5, nitrogen is +5. In P2, in N2O5, nitrogen is in +5. In P2O5 or P4O10, phosphorus is +5. And in SO3, sulfur is +6. In Cl2O7, Cl is +7. If the central element is in a highest positive oxidation state, it has nothing more to lose. It already lost what all it should. Therefore, the only option it has is to gain electrons. Anybody who gains electrons is called as an oxidizing agent. So, if you are given an option, which is the best oxidizing agent?
D.
If you are given CO2, NO2, SO2, SO3, Cl2O7, which is the best oxidizing agent? You are given an option like Cl2O7. Cl2O7 is a very powerful oxidizing agent because Cl is in which state? In Cl2O7, Cl is in +7 state. It lost 7 electrons. Which is a good oxidizing agent if I give Cl2O7? Cl2O7. Suppose I give you different options. Which of the following is the most powerful oxidizing agent? A, N2O5, B, P4O10, C, Cl2O7, D, XCO4.
XCO4.
You are very likely to get IIT best rank. You got the concept. Congratulations. Which of the following has highest energy? Notice the catenation stability is highest for sulfur in this family. So SS bond is the strongest. If you look at the bond energies, you can look at the data in the NCERT book. If you have NCERT book, open the data and see which is stronger bond. Which is strongest, sir?
Sulfur.
We go back. Should we go back to NCERT book once? We need to study it very carefully. Which bond is strongest in energy? What is that book? I'm missing it. My time is getting wasted. You have to investigate, man. You can't depend on your teacher. You should tell the answer on fingertips. Here, searching means time waste for me, and for time waste for you. Which bond is stronger, sir? OO, SS, SC, SC, TE, TE, PO, PO. Which bond is strongest?
SS.
The element which has highest catenation ability after carbon is sulfur. Sulfur has fantastic catenation ability because of high SS bond energy. Naturally, also sulfur exists as SC8, a crown-shaped molecule. It is a crown-shaped molecule. You see, I wanted to show you the bond energies. Okay. Where is the table? Sorry, I have to read the textbook, sir. Only critical things I would explain. If you ask me, He bond energy. So we have to look at it. So this is the introduction about the abundance. Don't worry about it. This is about electron configuration, enthalpy, electron gain, enthalpy, electron atomic ionization. All these are silly things. So there is a note on SF4. SF4 is a seesaw shaped molecule. SF4 is very unstable because it has a lone pair of electrons. And the stability of the halides, fluoride greater than bromide greater than iodide. Selenium chloride can be made by direct interaction. Se2Cl2 on heating decomposes to give SeCl4 and selenium. This is called disproportionation. Especially selenium oxide is used in Xerox machines. Oxygen can be prepared by heating potassium permanganate, potassium chlorate, silver oxide. Especially the decomposition of Ag2O is of some interest. Mercuric oxide, lead oxide, all they on heating give oxygen gas. The H2O2 is readily available in household. That on just keeping in open air itself decomposes, that is disproportionate. Large scale, if you want to have oxygen, it is prepared from air. So oxygen is a colorless gas, blah, blah, blah. It burns, helps the elements to burn. Many metals, non-metals burn in it. When sulfur dioxide is applied with high pressure on oxygen, it gives SO3. When HCl is treated with oxygen in presence of copper chloride, you get chlorine. All these are routine reactions. You can read yourself. I'm interested about the MM bond strength. Ozone is the allotropic form of oxygen. It is too reactive to remain for long in the atmosphere. Above 20 kilometers high it exists. It protects us from UV radiation. The pure ozone is pale blue color gas. Ozone is an oxidizing agent as well as a reducing agent. And for example, black lead sulfide reacts with ozone, you get white PbSO4. When iodide reacts with ozone, you get iodine. It means iodide means I minus. Ozone is taking away electrons. Therefore, it is an oxidizing agent. When nitric oxide reacts with O3, you are getting NO2 nitrogen dioxide. Ozone is a bent molecule. It's a germicide. Normally, to treat water, we are using it. In organic laboratory, to detect the double bonds, we are using ozone. It is used in the manufacture of potassium permanganate, so on. Sulfur has many allotropic forms. Here I am interested. Sulfur forms numerous allotropes, of which yellow rhombic sulfur is important. And I am more interested to look at the bond strength. I don't think, sir, because we don't have time. We will be just setting in the web because we have to be very sure about what we are talking. Notice, as in the case of FF, the small size of fluorine atom and more number of lone pair of electrons on fluorine atom make the FF bond very weak. Therefore, F2 is most reactive than any known element. So FF bond is very weak. After that, if you look at the OO bond, O atom is small. There are two lone pairs of electrons, due to which the OO bond is weaker. And SS bond is really almost double this stronger. You see, it is 213 kilojoules per mole, whereas OO bond, single bond is 138 kilojoules per mole. So sulfur has highest catenation ability. Sulfur SS single bonds are much stronger. SES single bond is stronger than SESC, which is stronger than TE, which is stronger than OO. OO single bond is really weaker. Can you see that here? Okay, sir. I am talking of single bond. I am not talking of double bonds. Okay, sir. Hello. There is a lot of discussion on this. Okay. If you look at this table, you can see all common bond energies for comparison. Because I am not worried of this now, I am going back. Sir, are we together, sir? Are we appreciating what I am talking? Hello? 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 Hello, am I audible to you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? Am I making sense? So let me see. This is an idea which bond is stronger. So let us quickly look at some questions on this and go to organic, because my fear is you are forgetting organic. Organic, if you leave means I will be in trouble. So this inorganic is very easy. If you read it 2-3 times, just you will remember it. There is hardly any difficulty in inorganic. We have to read the lesson, that's it. Look at these some questions. Okay. Hold on. Yes. Okay. Let's look here. So, which of the following bond has highest energy, sir?
C, SS bond.
SS.
Now, whenever oxygen combines with other elements, the binary compounds of oxygen with other elements are called oxides. Whenever first group, second group, most of the metals combine with oxygen, the metal oxides are basic. If you burn a leaf, you get ash. Ash is magnesium oxide and that is basic in nature. Metal oxides are basic. Therefore, non-metal oxides are
Acidic.
Acidic.
Not all non-metal oxides are acidic. If the non-metal oxide is not soluble in water, like N2O, NO, CO, they are called neutral oxides.
Neutral.
Some oxides like Al2O3, zinc oxide, they are both acidic as well as basic. They are called amphoteric. Some oxides like Fe3O4 are in fact made with two different oxides. Fe3O4 is made by Fe2O3 and FeO. It is called mixed oxide. So oxides are of many types. And now, which is most acidic oxide? A non-metal oxide where the number of oxygen atoms are highest is most acidic. Notice, if I am given oxides like SiO2, CO, CO2 and P4O10, which is most acidic. I have given options like CO, CO2, SiO2, P4O10. Which is most acidic means
P4O10.
high non-metal oxide, P4O10. Similarly, if I am given a list of first group metal oxide, generally first group metal oxides are most basic. Second group metal oxides are also basic. The bottom metal oxides are most acidic. In any period, bottom metal oxides are most acidic. Left to bottom is most basic. Left to bottom most. In the given options, Na2O is most basic. After Na2O, CaO is most basic. After CaO, MgO is most basic. Al2O3 is basic as well as acidic, called amphoteric. So in this, which is most acidic means C. In this, which is most basic means Na2O. Arrange them in the order of basic strength means Na2O is greater than, CaO is greater than, MgO is greater than Al2O3. How to arrange them? Left bottom most element in the periodic table is most basic. Right top highest oxide is most acidic. Will you write down it, sir, for me? Can you kindly write down, sir? In the periodic table, left bottom most oxide is most basic. Left bottom oxide most basic. Can you see it, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can see it.
So the answer to this question number 5 is most acidic is Al2O3. All the elements of oxygen family are, they are not all non-metals. Only oxygen, sulfur are non-metals. All are not metallites. Only selenium, tellurium are metallites. All are not radioactive. Only polonium is radioactive. But all are
Polymorphic.
now coming to sorry. Okay. Coming to a group of 16 elements exists in monoatomic state in metallic lattice. It also exists in 2 crystalline forms. What could be it, sir?
Polonium.
Read the textbook. I don't want to tell the answer. I want you to investigate. Which of the following is an oxyacid? Oxyacids are made by non-metals. Oxyacids are those which have OH groups. And D is not definitely a oxyacid. B cannot be oxyacid because it is a metal hydroxide, it is a basic, and it is called milk of magnesia. If you are not getting motion, you can take a spoon of milk of magnesia, you get as if it is a fountain. Milk of magnesia, MgOH twice. For small babies, they give it. Barium hydroxide is a dangerous base. If anybody touches it on the tongue, they will die. So, which is oxyacid means phosphorus acid, H3PO3. It has 2 OH groups. So, it is a dibasic acid. It has 1 hydrogen directly linked to P. So, it is a reducing agent in nature. And all oxyacids of phosphorus have at least 1 P double bond O and at least 1 POH. We know that. Which of the following is incorrect? O2 is a weaker oxygen than O3 is perfect. O3 is the most powerful oxygen. O2 has smaller bond length than O3 is perfect because in O2 there is a O double bond O. Whereas in O3 there is O double bond O single bond O. So definitely O3 is having longer bond length. It is having a bond order of 1.5, whereas O2 has a bond order of 2. The shorter the bond order, the higher the bond order, the shorter the bond. So O2 is weaker oxygen than O3 is wrong. O2 has smaller bond. O2 is a weaker oxygen than O3 is right. O2 has smaller bond length than O3 is right. Both O2 and O3 are paramagnetic is nonsense. O2 is paramagnetic. O3 is a diamagnetic. O2 is linear, O3 is angular. That's correct. Remember that O3 is a diamagnetic. It is prepared in tubes called ozonizers. If you pass silent electric discharge through oxygen, silent electric discharge means you should pass electric current without sparks. Then you can make ozone. There are 2 instruments normally used to make ozone: Brody ozonizer and Siemens ozonizer. What is the oxygen state of sulfur in the anions? You should work out. It is from 11th class portion. Can you work it out really? Hello? Can you work out the oxidation state of sulfur in S2O6, S2O4 and SO3? Write down and try to work out. Hello?
Yes, sir.
You report me your answer, try to write down. Find the oxidation state of sulfur in S2O6 2 minus, S2O4 2 minus, SO3 2 minus. Is your homework? You try to do that. Next, photoconductors of Xerox machines are made with what, sir? Just now I said sometime back. What element of oxygen sulfur family is used in Xerox machines? Hello. It is selenium, man. Selenium oxide is used. Selenium sulfide is used to make shampoos to relieve dandruff. Selenium, oxygen, sulfur, selenium. It is not much abundant as sulfur or oxygen, but selenium has many uses. Are we very clear, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Yes,
Sir, the sulfur dioxide gas, which is a matchstick bond smell which has, it is passed through acidified K2Cr2O7. It is not fully printed. K2Cr2O7, potassium dichromate. You see, the sulfur dioxide and alcohol have same property. If you pass either SO2 or alcohol through K2Cr2O7 solution gets green color due to the formation of Cr2SO4 taken thrice. Notice sulfur dioxide is an electron loser. It is a reducing agent. Alcohol is also a reducing agent. Alcohol is a reducing agent because alcohol easily undergo oxidation to give carboxylic acid. SO2 is a reducing agent because it undergo oxidation to give SO3. So SO2, alcohol have a great similarity. When you see somebody is there on the road driving a car in the way they like in the light, police people will stop the car and ask the driver to breathe into one instrument. When that fellow breathes, the alcohol which is there in his mouth, if he is a drunkard, will attack the dichromate and dichromate will get green color. By looking at the intensity of green color, police will be knowing whether he has taken 1 peg, 2 peg, 3 pegs. And if they have taken more than 3 pegs, they are to be jailed. You know, you should not drive after taking alcoholic beverage. What you should do, sir, after taking whiskey? Hello? What you should do after taking whiskey, brandy, rum, gin, whatever?
We should never take whiskey and brandy, sir.
So that's a good idea. But if you happen to take, you should not drive. Because if you drive, you are in danger and the public are also in danger. The alcohol can react with the dichromate to give you chromic sulfate, which is green in color. SO2 can also do this job. Okay? Sulfuric acid is made by dissolving SO3 in sulfuric acid. This method of making sulfuric acid is known as contact process. In contact process, you take sulfur and burn it in oxygen to give SO2, or you heat zinc sulfide or ores of sulfur to get SO2. That SO2 is purified and then it is made to react with oxygen to give SO3. The SO3 is dissolved in very diluted sulfuric acid to give concentrated sulfuric acid. That is called oleum. Oleum is again diluted to get more H2SO4. H2SO4 is known as king of all chemicals. Actually, how much sulfuric acid you spend decides how wealthy your country is. And H2SO4 is a powerful oxidizing agent. It is a powerful dehydrating agent. And it looks very, very viscous, like your honey. It is a very good agent that can give SO3 to anybody, sulfonating agent. But sulfuric acid is never a reducing agent. It is only oxidizing agent, dehydrating agent, a viscous reagent. There is a note on sulfuric acid which is made by contact process. These are the few questions from oxygen sulfur family. I want you to read yourself the oxygen sulfur family up to sulfur. That's you can do it. Nothing much explanation is needed on this, but explanation is needed in organic matter. We will be in trouble otherwise. This is a question that appeared on 12th April in first shift. Can you answer this question? 369. Sir, please look at this question. Write down this question in your notebook. First, you are treating with potassium tertiary butoxide, which is a powerful base that can bring about, any powerful base can bring about elimination reaction of alkyl halide or cyclohalogen derivative. When the HX is removed, you get a double bond. Preferably, you get a double bond like double bond, single bond, double bond conjugation. Once you got double bond, when you treat it with ozone in dimethyl sulfide, it is like reducive ozonolysis. Instead of zinc, you can use dimethyl sulfide. On ozonolysis, you should cut the double bond and put the O. So, can you identify the product in 369? Please take your notebook and try to write down. Hello. Will you try? Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Sir, in the first step, this Br will go with this hydrogen. Let us use fine pen. This hydrogen and this Br will be eliminated. When they are eliminated, what do you get, sir? Hello. When this is eliminated, you get a double bond. This is eliminated, now you got a double bond. This is double bond, single bond, double bond. This fellow, when treated with ozone, you cut the double bond, put the bow. Cut the double bond, put the bow. So you will be getting here CHO as one product. Okay. And the other product is CHO, CH2, CH2, CH2. So, what is the answer, sir? Hello? Hello?
Option A.
Sir, is there any difficulty with this question? Let us analyze it carefully. Potassium tertiary butoxide, potassium methoxide, sodium hydroxide, any base can bring about dehydrohalogenation. The dehydrohalogenation gives a double bond. The double bond compound, when treated with ozone in presence of zinc or dimethyl sulfide, cut the double bond, put the O. So here you will be getting a product like CHO glyoxal plus butan 1,4-diol. Butan diol. Answer is A. Are you clear about it? Hello? Hello? Look at question number 370. Try to identify answer. What is your answer to this question, sir? In this question, you can clearly see that vinyl halides do not undergo nucleophilic substitution because CH2 double bond CHCl, whenever Cl is bonded to a doubly bonded carbon, the CCl bond gets double bond nature and it would be very difficult to break. Hence, vinyl halides, chlorobenzene, they do not undergo nucleophilic substitution easily. A is right. Even though the intermediate carbocation is stabilized nonsense, whenever the carbocation is forming on C double bond C or on benzene, the phenyl carbocation and vinyl carbocation are very highly unstable. They are never stabilized. So A is right, R is wrong. What is the answer, sir? Hello? Hello? Do we know very clearly that vinyl halide will not undergo SN reaction? Do I know that
Yes,
chlorobenzene will not undergo SN reaction? Do I know that phenyl carbocation is unstable? Do I know that vinyl carbocation is unstable? It is never stabilized. If I know it, this answer question is very simple. Is it not so?
Yes, sir.
Let us look at this. 368. Can we answer this question? Sodium ethoxide is a strong base. Whenever you are heating an alkyl halide with a base, it undergoes dehydrohalogenation, you get a double bond. So you get a double bond. When you are adding with HBr, the Markovnikov rule says that hydrogen always adds to that carbon, which already has more hydrogens. So what is the product, sir? What is the product?
Option B, sir.
B.
I don't know. You are not able to apply.
A, sir.
First, this hydrogen and this Cl are eliminated. So you are getting this. Okay? You got it?
A, sir. Yes, sir.
When this is when this is added with HBr, this carbon is having 0 hydrogens. This carbon is having 1 hydrogen. Where hydrogen should combine with anti-R by?
B.
Huh? What is Markovnikov rule?
Sir, hydrogen will go to A and we are going
Ah. So what is the answer now?
to A.
Answer is anti. Let us look at this. Is it a very difficult question? Hello.
Sir, no.
Whenever an alkyl halide reacts with alkali like NaOH, like sodium ethoxide, sodium tertiary butoxide, on heating it readily loses, brings about elimination product with a double bond. And that when added with the HBr, according to Markovnikov rule, under normal conditions, hydrogen combines with the carbon, which has more hydrogens. So it will combine with, the product is A. Are we clear on this? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.